morning, Team Alabama. We are ready for page 26. Page 26, and don't you dare read this, Mrs. Dunfree. Don't you dare read this, Mrs. Dunfree. And it's organized in chronological order, meaning by the date. It's a diary that she writes, her journal entries. And she kind of writes to her teacher, but she doesn't ever let her read it because she always writes on there, don't read, or please don't read. So the date at the top of this entry is October the 6th. So October the 6th, make sure that you're adding to your facts today. You should get at least 5 more today. Make sure you're numbering them. And not only do I want you to do 50, that's the requirement, but if you do over the 50 and you get to 70, that's some extra credit points, and you could probably use that. So October the 6th, page 26. Please don't read this, Mrs. Dunfree. I can't believe that I thought things were going to be all right. I came home from school today and Mom was sitting in the rocking chair in the living room, not even watching TV, just rocking back and forth and back and forth. And I asked her if she was okay, and she said, he's back in town. Of course, I knew she meant my dad. So I said, who cares? That made Mom mad. Who cares? Who cares? I do. You should. He's your father, for God's sakes. I told Matt to go to his room and do his homework, and Matt got all whiny. And I don't want to. I can't. Can't I go see my daddy? Matt's so young. He doesn't even remember what having dad around was like. He just has this idea that it's like on TV, those Cosby shows, reruns maybe, where the father's all nice and kind and helpful. Matt should know that our mom's not like TV mothers. Why should dad be like TV dads? And in the end, I got Matt to leave. So what are you going to do? I asked Mom, and I put it just the way that I'd put it to Rochelle or Chastity or Sandy. Remember, those are her good friends. So that's a fact that you can add if you haven't. Rochelle, Chastity, and Sandy are Tish's good friends. And Tish talks to her mom like she talks to her friends. And Dad is back in town. And Matt thinks everything should be perfect. But she's kind of letting us know that things aren't perfect with Dad. What are some questions you could ask yourself? Is Dad mean? How long has Dad been gone? Why did Dad leave? Those are all questions we could ask. Good readers constantly have that thought going in their mind of, what else do I know about the story, or what do I want to know? So what are you going to do? I asked Mom, and I put it just the way I put it with Rochelle and Chastity and Sandy when they're worrying about their boyfriends. I don't know. What should I do? Mom said. Same old wimpy Mom as ever, and I got to see him. Maybe he'll move back in. I just snorted and went to my room. I wish Grandma was still alive. She would tell Mom how dumb she was being about Dad. Of course, Mom didn't listen to her either. October the 7th. Don't read this, Mrs. Dunfree. It's all Mom's fault. I can't stop thinking about Dad. I've been trying to remember a time when he wasn't mean, when he and Mom weren't fighting, and when he wasn't always yelling at someone, and I kind of can. When I was little, real little, maybe 2 or 3, Dad had a job driving a cement truck. I called it the round and round truck. And Dad used to laugh about that in a good way, like he was proud of me. And I remember one time he took me and Mom for a ride in his round and round truck, and we all sat in the cab eating Cheetos. And if I close my eyes, I can almost see us all laughing, getting that orangey Cheeto dust all over our hands and faces. Nobody caring. And I was happy. I think Mom and Dad were too. So what happened after that? Any other time that I ever remember, if I'd been eating Cheetos and getting messy, Dad would have been yelling about what a slob I was and how Mom just didn't know how to take care of me. Why'd he have to change? I do know that he got fired from driving the round and round truck. It was after that that we all came to live with Grandma. Okay, so there was a time when Tish was happy. When she was little, the family seemed happy. Dad drove a cement truck, and he drove the round and round truck, she called it. He got fired from that job. There are at least 4 facts for you. Top of page 28. October the 12th. Don't read this, Mrs. Dunfree. Mom is going to do something stupid. I know she is. She missed work the last 3 nights. I had to call in sick for her because she forgot to do that. She just sits in the rocking chair, rocking and muttering things like, I could see him. It could work. It really wasn't a lie for me to tell her boss that she was sick because she hasn't been sleeping or eating and she looks really terrible. I was trying to be funny and I told her, Mom, if you do go see Dad, do yourself a favor and take a shower and put on some makeup first. Okay, how is Tish acting? What role has Tish taken on in this house? I want you to answer that. Put that down as a fact. I shouldn't have said that because then she started sobbing and she went running into the bathroom and she locked the door. And I know she was staring in the mirror because she kept screaming, I'm too ugly for him now. And then she had the shower on for almost 45 minutes, and I was half afraid she'd try to slit her wrists or something. The only good thing is I don't think Mom would ever have the nerve for that. I've been trying to keep Matt away from Mom while she's acting so scary, and last night I didn't have to work, and I kept Matt at the mall until it closed, and he got all whiny. Tish, can't we go home? My feet hurt. But at least when he did get home, he went to bed and fell asleep right away and didn't hear Mom at all. I tried to ask Chastity and Rochelle and Sandy what they would do if they had my problems without letting them know how freaked out Mom really is. Do your mothers ever act weird? I asked them. And Sandy just kind of snorted and said, mothers are made to be weird. And then Chastity started telling the long story about how her mother doesn't like Chastity to use so much hairspray or poof up her bangs so high because she thinks it's slutty. That's why Chastity waits until she gets to school to do her hair right. No, I mean really weird. I said, but it was lost on them. What'd I expect? All they really care about is makeup and boys. They're no smarter than me. How were they going to have any great answers? October the 15th. I wish so bad that Grandma were still alive. She would know what to do about Mom. Grandma used to take care of all of us so well, and I remember for a long time after we first moved in with Grandma that I was scared of the dark. That's a great fact. Tish used to be scared of the dark, and the family moved in with Grandma. And Grandma would come in every night and say, what do you think is in the dark that's so scary? And I'd say goblins or boogeyman, and she'd wave her arms and she'd say, they're gone, all gone. And the way she said it, I believed her. I'd smell her old lady perfume, lavender or lilac, and something like that. And when she waved her arms, and it seemed like the scent would protect me from any bad thing. And after a while, I ran out of bad things to be scared of. Now that I think of it, I don't think Dad was living with us when we first moved in with Grandma. That was later. Okay, now, in this italics part, the teacher writes to her. Okay, so she's turning this journal into the teacher, and she writes back to her, Tish, I am delighted that you finally let me read a real entry in this journal. I felt frustrated seeing almost all your previous entries marked don't read, because I can tell that you're writing a lot, but of course I've wanted to respect your wish for privacy. Based on this one entry, I think you may have a knack for writing, a knack that you've managed to hide in practically everything else you've handed in. Knack would be a great word for your vocab. Perhaps you've needed the power of a childhood memory to stir you. Whatever, I think you ought to consider trying out for the literary magazine staff here. Probably you've seen it, the Lodestar. You could make quite a contribution. So you might even want to add contribution. What is contribution? Talk to me if you're interested. You're rather vague here about the problems with your mother and father. You might want to add vague. Vague means unclear. I'll give you that definition. Vague means unclear. I don't want to pry, but you know there are lots of people here at school who are ready and willing to help you with any personal problems that you could go to one of the counselors or take advantage of the new student assistance program. Or if you feel more comfortable talking to someone your own age, the peer counselors might help. And of course, I'd be perfectly willing to talk to you if you want. Just don't assume that you have to handle everything by yourself. Okay, we're done there for the day. Make sure you added about 10 facts today. That was an easy day to get a lot of facts. And if you have not finished up with your autobiography, you need to be doing that. That needs to be turned in. and I need to put zeros in the grade book for those of you that haven't. But if you need extra help or special help, please email me and I will give you a call. Give me a phone number and a time frame where we could talk on the phone, and I'll help you with that. And you can even be writing on your Google Doc, and as long as you've shared it with me, I can help you with that. We did that with several people. Have a great rest of the day, Team Alabama, and we will be back with a new chapter of Don't You Dare Read This, Mrs. Dunfree, for Monday.